guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Notice I did the short intro today, and I'm going to play the long intro as we leave. Because, when just we'll talk about that a little at the end. Actually, I'll save that for the end. I got something kind of funny to show you guys. But good morning and good to see you guys. I'm sorry that we didn't do coffee and crime. That will resume tomorrow. I'm still not feeling 100%. I'm trying to get over this little bug, and I'm also preparing for my niece's birthday. So I've told you guys, my niece lives with me, and her birthday's tomorrow, so trying to get ready, wrapping presents and all that kind of stuff. So it's a busy time. But anyways, thank you guys for being here. So today we're going to start where we left off yesterday, but also we're going to, so yesterday we listened to Jen Soto's ex-husband's police interview. We still have a minute or two of that. Actually, I'm going to just press play right where we left off. If you want to listen with no commentary, or you don't like when I talk, the link is in the description. I get really confused by people who are like, you talk too much. What do you expect coming to my channel? Like, I'm going to talk. That's the whole point of my channel, but whatever. Okay. So save those comments for later, and we'll laugh about one of those at the end today. So we're going to listen to the end of her ex-husband's interview. It's very quick. I just want to start right where we left off. We had to end yesterday. I had to run and get the kids. Then we're going to listen to Maddie's dad, Tyler, as he talks to police, his police interview. But then I'm going to take you back to when he spoke with the local news and show you that as well. Read that article. And I want to show you some pictures. Before we get into it, I want to show you some pictures of Maddie and with her dad and stepmom. We forget she had a whole nother part of her family. They lived far away. So they didn't get to see each other as much as they liked. But they did have a really great relationship. And I just want to show you a few pictures, that are just really sweet and precious. And I can't imagine how they must feel, that they're really hurting. I really cannot. If I was him, I don't know how I would get through. I don't know how I would be able to accept what has happened, and that her mother essentially, let it happen. I'm not saying she knew about it and was like, okay, that's all right. You can, this can happen. No, I'm just saying because of her actions and her just being so obsessed with her own mental health and having so many of her own mental health problems, that's just how it happened. But anyways, let me say hello to you guys, and then we will get into it. Hey, Mayla's mom. Hey, Mo. Hey, TK. Hey, MK. Good to see you. I'm sorry I'm late, trying to skip that long-ass intro. MK, today we did a short intro. I'm going to play it as an outro when we leave, the long one, because, I noticed that people are still very upset about that intro. I don't get it. I see some creators just play music for 15, 20 minutes before they come on, whatever. The point of having a longer intro during live shows is so you give people a chance to get here. But I'm going to say hello to you guys, and that will give people a chance to get here, and then we're going to get right into it. So, hey, Curious Christine, my humanimal. TK, I think I said hi to you, but hello anyways, because I just love you. And Claus, good to see you. Shelly Beans, what happened, Delana? Let me scroll up and see. Hey, Rogue Nomad, good to see you. Or if you don't like when I talk, it's crazy you even have to say that. I like when you talk, Ellie. Thank you. But no, I'm going to show you. Oh, Grace, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm happy that you're here too. I'm really sorry. Oh, Delana, I'm so sorry about your pup. I know Bendy's going through that too. I'm just so sorry for you guys. That's so sad. Really hard to go through. Hey, Sarah, hopefully I can get your mind off of it for a little bit. Jennifer, Kimberly, Rhodey Gal, good to see you. Hey, Dana, Preschool Granny, Chloe, Heathen, anybody that I missed. Thank you for being here. My 3 rosebuds, my Bendy. Anybody who's in, the path of the hurricane, If you're supposed to evacuate, please stay safe. I don't even have any advice to give because I'm not good in these situations, but it's just, make sure that you're watching the local news and you're following the instructions. It's really, can be very dangerous, and thinking about you guys. Oh, Grace, I'm so sorry to hear that. My goodness, my daughter lost her dog too. Wow, preschool granny. Well, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't even know what I can say. Hey, Marshall. All right. So, like I said, we're going to get started with his interview. But first, let me show you guys a few pictures. Well, we're going to start with the police interview. We're going to take it back to his interview on the news after we hear the police interview. I just think listening to it that way will be interesting. But first, I want to show you these pictures. Now, this is just a screenshot from his interview with the news. He wasn't happy. They asked him what would you do what do you think should happen to Stefan? I can't remember how they said it, but he's like, you don't want me to, I can't answer that. What any father would do. I mean, you could just feel the emotion, the love, the anger coming from him. His wife, Tatiana, I believe it is, Tyler and Tatiana Wallace, they have been very vocal on Facebook, so I feel pretty comfortable saying their names. They have shared a lot of pictures. They were sharing a lot of pictures and posts when Maddie was missing. Yeah. So there's some more photos I grabbed. There's Maddie and her dad. Look at them. Oh, my goodness. She looks just like her dad, you guys. Just like her dad. Hey, neat. There she is. This is how long she's had, her stepmom in her life. Okay, Bendy, you stay safe too. And thank you for being here. And you guys check out my friend Jen's channel. She has a great channel. And also, I wonder what Mo is in the Nightbot. If this isn't it and somebody knows, please share it. Hey, Johnny, check out Mo's channel too. She does a great job. There it goes. Okay, so there's Maddie with her dad and her stepmom. Look at her and look at them. I mean, my goodness. And her stepmom is just gorgeous, isn't she? They're all beautiful. Look at little Maddie here. So I just want to, remember this child had other family. It wasn't just this toxic dynamic of mental health and sadness. It truly seems like a very sad place for a child to live in with everything that was going on to her and around her. But she had other family too. Look at her here as a little one with her dad and stepmom. Look at her face. Little kids are so funny in pictures, right? Like when they do like the really big forced smiles and stuff like that. She did look just like her dad. Absolutely. Hey, Past. I love these pictures though. I mean, they just do they not look so happy in all of them? And like, you can just feel the love, truly. Like, look at these. This is like genuine happiness and love. And it's just so sad. But I'm glad that Maddie had that. Oh my God, this one. Oh, this picture right here, you guys. You do a great job, Mo. You do. And covering unknown cases and stuff that is so important. We have a ton to talk about tomorrow. Just several more of people who are supposed to be taking care of our kids, taking advantage of them, and other things like that. I can't wait to show them all to you guys. They're just the most precious pictures, right? I don't know. Sad. Really sad. Hey, Claus, I'm curious about, headed in your direction at all? My mom said we were going to get like some rain from the outer bands tomorrow here. Look at this one. Oh, when I saw this one, all of them. I mean, you can just feel the love. You can literally feel it. They're precious, and I'm so sorry for their loss. I cannot imagine. I really cannot. Loss they have suffered. due to Jen being irresponsible. Jen being irresponsible and Stephen being a freaking dirtbag. There's my bee crumbs. I was wondering if you were here. Good to see you this morning, and I hope that you're staying safe too. Okay, so now we're going to get right into the interview. We got a while. We're going to start off again with the end of her stepdad's interview and make our way into what her dad had to say. And then we'll go to what he said on the local news. And like I said, we'll go from there. So that's the plan. Let me pull this up. Thank you guys for being here. If you just want to hear the interviews again, they're in the description box. We're playing it from the channel Gray Hughes Investigates. And I have linked it in the description. Hey, Thistle. All right, let's go, you guys. Here we go.
After we were talking about, I think she may have.
Remember, actually, I'll rewind it about 20 seconds because where we left off, he was saying, you know, I know I've asked this, but let me ask again about Maddie's medication. This is her stepdad. It won't be long and we'll get into Dad's interview. So we're just going to.
Know if it's my own personal involvement with Maddie and my love for her, that I don't think anybody else of that could have that capability of not loving Maddie. You know, maybe it's my own naivety, but my heart doesn't tell me that. But again, not a professional.
I know we touched on it a little bit, but have you known any medications that Maddie's on?
After we were talking about, I think she was diagnosed with ADD and may have been on ADD med, but I don't know for certain. Okay. I can't like swear under any oath. I know she was on meds.
But you did say that medication that, you know, Jen's been taking. But have you known any medications that Maddie's on?
What the heck? Why did that was so strange. It went to like 0 minutes and 0 seconds. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know what happened. Hey, Melinda, good to see you. And hey, my 3 rosebuds. The one where she's holding the ice cream cone. She looks so beautiful. She does. All of them. I really wanted to share those with you guys just because what happened to her was tragic and her life it's sad. You know, and I know that it touches many of you guys the way it touches me. This doesn't leave us. We might leave the live and go on to do our daily chores or whatever we're doing. And this kind of stuff really sticks. And it's just nice to see her happy and loved and, you know, so, okay.
After we were talking about, I think she was diagnosed with ADD and may have been on ADD med, but I don't know for certain. Okay. I can't like swear under any oath. I know she was on meds.
But you did say that medication that, you know, Jen's been taking has caused her to go into a deep sleep or something like that. Or
yeah, I think sometimes I don't know exactly which meds will knock her out, but I know I've done meds before that maybe completely knock out and, you know, pass out for the night and use the time for bedtime to make sure, you know, like after the parenting hours are done, you know, gotta take it then. And I don't know which one she's been on and when, but I've been on medications like that for depression before. And sometimes they just knock you out. Like, you can't have the medication. If that's what the doctor says is going to help you. You know, you try and work with the doctor so you can get better. And
how long are you staying down here for?
My wife and daughter are flying back on Thursday. I'm going to help clear out some of the apartment on Thursday. I'll be flying on Friday. If you guys need to talk to me, have my phone number. Let me know. If there's anything you want me to ask my daughter, I really don't want her to get brought in to get questions. Like, I don't want her to get too scarred. But if you guys have questions you would like me to ask her, and I can try to approach her in a soft way, like I'd be happy to help in any way I can. I just want to make sure I'm not scarring her anymore. Sure.
Let me ask you this: does your daughter? Does she see any kind of therapist or anything like that on a regular basis?
Just before all this, we got her an occupational therapist, and we just got her started with a main therapist, like with a EAP 10-session program. And so that's why we're trying to get her back on Thursday because her first appointment's on Friday. But yeah, we're trying.
Does her therapist know what's going on?
She is aware of what's going on. Social work at school is aware of what's on. And then her occupational therapist is aware, just so they all know before.
So in the background, it appears to be the photos that they released. They released a ton of evidence photos, but there is no explanation, right? So it's just a bunch of photos, and you have to kind of decipher what they are. This is where Maddie was found. I'm curious what was just flagged with those evidence markers. Was that a tire? Like, you know how a tire will just come off? And he said that's what happened to his tire.
She steps in.
Okay. Are they on board if she discloses something to them, to that law enforcement, or, you know?
Yeah, if there's something pertaining to this case that she finds out or they find out, like I want them to be able to share it.
Mhm.
Like I
Because I know they can't share information with us because it's a patient client.
I could talk to the therapist beforehand and ask him like, hey, if you find out anything about this fraud, we need to contact some people so they can get the right information over. Is that
That's between you and the therapist. We can't get involved in that.
right?
Mhm.
But is that what you're asking?
If she happens to mention something during therapy
Uh-huh.
and that is told to you,
Yeah, what is that, you guys? Does anybody know? Like, I don't know what that is. So yes, just one more time. We started this interview with her stepdad yesterday. We listened to most of it, but where we paused, there was a little left. So I'm playing from there. It's going to be her biological dad in just a second. So
can you just please let me know?
Yes. If there's anything pertaining to this that will help out, like I will definitely let you guys know. Again, if anybody is part of this, I want justice to be served.
Anything else, dude? All right, we're going. It is 3:13. We're going to conclude this.
Correctly. Hey, Bodine. All right. So here is her dad, Tyler. I am curious about one thing, and I don't know if any of you guys know. Why didn't she take his last name? Why didn't Maddie have her dad's last name? I know that they weren't married, but that's honestly, I don't know. That's not a reason. I'm curious if anybody has heard anything about that. So now we're going to do the next 40 minutes as an interview with her dad. And we'll try to get through that, and then I'll play some other things that he said publicly.
The date is March 11, 2024. The time is 2:02 p.m. It's a reference case number 24001896. The date is March 11, 2024. The time is 2:02 p.m. It's a reference case number 24001896. Person present are myself, Detective Morris, Detective Smallwood.
So this takes place a month before the media interview we're going to watch next. So that's perfect.
Calling Tyler Wallace, who is the biological father of Madeline Soto. Phone number we're calling him at.
It's a phone interview, by the way, you guys.
Hello.
Hi, is this Tatiana and Tyler?
Hey, Michelle.
Once again, appreciate you taking my call this afternoon. So as you're well aware, I got myself and my partner here, Detective Smallwood. We are working the case in reference to Madeline.
Yes.
All right. So I know, Tatiana, you're not biologically involved, but Tyler is.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask a majority of my questions. I need him to answer instead of you. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Tyler, can you spell your first and last name for me?
Yes, sir. My first name is Tyler, Tyler.
Okay.
My last name is Wallace, Wallace.
So once again, first of all, I want to express our condolences to you.
Thank you, sir.
I know it's a difficult time for you and everybody else that's involved. So some of these questions may be difficult for you to answer, but I want you to do your best you can, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Tyler, you are Madeline's biological father, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I am her biological father.
Okay. When were you and Jennifer together?
Are you asking our physical time or like relationship time?
Yeah, relationship time.
We dated when I was 16. I believe we were together for roughly 3 years. And then we ended up having an encounter in 2009 from which Maddie was born.
Wow.
Okay.
We were not together at the time. I was with my wife. We were engaged. Well, we weren't engaged yet, but it was around that time.
Got it. Okay. Were you in Florida here or where were you guys at?
I was at the time of our dating. So when I was 16 years of age and such, we would have been in Florida around Orlando and Kissimmee.
Okay.
I was living with my parents at the time. She was living with hers. At the time of our second encounter in 2009, I would have been stationed, I believe, in Baltimore, Maryland, doing training, and then in Kings Bay, Georgia Naval Base is where I was stationed for my duty station, and I encountered her there.
Okay. Did she live up there or just come to visit? How did that come about?
She was visiting. Our initial encounter in 2009, she was living in New York with her father at the time. I had just gone through boot camp, and we had connected, I believe, on MySpace. And then she ended up visiting me and a group of my Marines around November, and I only know it was that time because it was around the Marine Corps ball, so I have something to tie it to. I'm actually pretty wishy-washy with time, but that was around the period our encounter would have occurred.
Got it.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Can you reframe if I answered that, let me know.
No, yeah, you're good. So you guys weren't actually dating at the time she was conceived, is that correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay. How much involvement have you had in Maddie's life?
I have tried to maintain civil connections with the mother. I would say prior to the last 2 years, I normally got to see my daughter about once a year. It was 2 years since I got to see Maddie, and the last time I saw her was October of last year.
Wow. That's not much at all, you know. Damn. Okay.
And where were you then? Did you come to Florida or?
She came to Texas. Maddie was sent to visit us in Texas. She traveled unattended. I received her at the airport.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. How would you describe the relationship between you and Jennifer right now?
I am not contacting Jennifer, and I desire to receive updates outside of the family. All the information I have regarding my daughter has been passed to me through her family, and I just...
Right, I get that.
I am not contacting Jennifer, and I want to receive updates outside of the family. Okay. Don't blame him. Sarah, you know what? I'd have to go back to double check that. We can do that. We can go back and double check a few things, but let me just pull up I think I have the transcript pulled up, matter of fact. Let's see. So you guys weren't actually dating at the time she was conceived. Is that correct? Yes. Let's see. So around November. Yeah. He did say that, but you know what? That doesn't make sense. Her birthday was February 22nd. I don't know. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I mean, she looks like she's the literal spitting image of him. And I'm sure there may have been DNA testing and stuff usually when you have a relationship that's not super close like they did, and you're sharing, sending Maddie there. He may be paying child support. I don't know. They probably did a DNA test. Let's keep listening though. He did say November there.
What was your guys' relationship leading up to all of this?
I tried to talk with Jennifer as little as possible. There was a period when Maddie was first born that Jennifer seemed pretty intent on breaking up my marriage with my wife. And so in the nature of making everybody happy, I just talked to Jennifer as little as possible.
Wow. Okay.
Which is why I had so little contact with Maddie growing up. I only just recently started reaching out to Maddie through like Skype and stuff where she was able to, or not Skype, excuse me, what did we use? I think we used like Instagram or FaceTime, but we would use like video chats and voice chat to start talking. And so I was starting to get a deeper relationship with Maddie, and then this occurred.
Okay.
No problem, Sarah.
So you say you contacted her through social media.
Okay.
What
Yes,
do you list yourself on different social media accounts? What is your screen names?
My screen names?
Yeah.
Usually my screen names will all be a variation of my email. I can give you my email, but it's going to be CPTHRDCR. So most of my screen names are like a variation of that with like a 13 behind it. But I have on Facebook, it just says my normal name. I believe Instagram, I come up as like CPTHRDCR13. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm bad at managing all of my social media accounts. I'm locked out of like half of them right now.
Okay. All right. All right. So you said you and Jennifer, you haven't had that cordial relationship. So, but you started
I would say our relationship has been cordial, but it is a surface level cordialness maintained on our side to guarantee access with Maddie, because I was never able to afford to go to court to get my custodial rights established with her.
Okay.
Oh, so there we go. They didn't go to court to have the rights established. Huh. Interesting. I am shocked by that. And why not? No. Okay. I'm going to try to be, I got to take it easy on Dad here because he didn't do this and he's not part of why this happened. I mean, I suppose had he had more visits with Maddie and stuff, things could have potentially been different, but he's a victim in this. So I'm going to try to not be judgmental with him and take it easy on him. It is unfortunate that he didn't go to court and try to fight for for more. But he does, you know, say that he did work to maintain a surface level relationship with Jen just so that he could see Maddie. So, okay, let's go.
Okay. And you said you started reaching back out to Maddie last year on a more consistent basis?
Yes, sir. She was coming up on the age of 13. And so the last time I had stayed, when she had visited us in October, I was basically talking to her about how she would feel about coming to live with us in Texas, if that was something she would be interested in. And she expressed that she would be interested, but she didn't say why or what. We just kind of left it at that. And it was something I was going to talk to Jennifer about, but just hadn't yet.
Okay. How was Madeline when she come to see you in October?
She seemed to be in very good spirits, but a thing I kept saying was that I don't know if this will make sense to you, but I can give you the context if you need it. She reminded me of a character from a show called Euphoria, in the sense that there was just an emotional weight about her that I did not understand what was the cause. It just seemed like she was dealing with stuff that a 12-year-old girl shouldn't deal with, but I didn't get to see her enough to really pry. And so I was just trying to ask her like surface level comfort questions to build a relationship with her, but I had no clue anything was going on at that time.
So he did see her in October right before this, but it seems like the last visit before that was like 2 years. A character from Euphoria. Does he name her? I kept hearing people say this was said, but I hope he names which characters. I can Google it.
Got it. How long was she out there visiting you?
She was with us for 4 days in October.
Okay. Have you talked to her since October?
I had a couple of Instagram communications with her since then. I talked to her, I believe, once or twice on video chat. And I can't remember the exact dates, but I have, just so you know, I have left all of my social media untouched since the search turned into a verification that she was in fact dead, just in case any of my social medias can be useful to you guys.
Okay. At the end, I'm going to give you my email address. If you can just send me screenshots of your conversations with Maddie or any that you may have had with Jennifer.
Yes, let me write that down real quick. Screenshots of conversations with Maddie or Jennifer.
Yeah.
Is there anything in specific you're looking for?
Nope, just all your conversations. That'd be great.
Say that one more time.
Just all of the conversations you've had with Maddie.
Yeah, got it.
And then if you've had some with Jennifer, those as well.
Roger.
So how did you come about to hear what happened with Maddie?
It was, hold on, let me pull up my phone so I can find the exact day. 1 second.
I found a picture, Euphoria. It has Zendaya. Look at this picture of Zendaya. You said you guys think that's her, but I just want to show you. She looks, I mean, look at this picture and then think of the pictures of Maddie, like at the birthday with, I can see what he's saying there. What do you guys think? That is freaking sad. All right. Just a shame, man. Things, I don't know. Let me just keep playing.
Monday, February 26th, or possibly, it was either the 25th or the 26th. I had just worked a shift in Cypress, Texas, at my place of employment, which is Imperial Vapor Company. And the time on deck was around 4 or 5. The time on deck when I received the call was around 4 or 5 p.m. Jennifer called me and said that she had been informed by the school that Maddie never arrived at the school that day. And I asked Jennifer what she knew at that moment. She seemed distressed, but I told her, because she was trying to give me a bunch of stories about who had taken who where. And I said, I don't care about details right now. I need to know what you know. Where is Maddie? She did not know. And I said, how long has she been missing? And she said, since this morning. And then I said, okay, I need you to get in contact with the police department if you haven't already. And I would like you to continue to update me. And then she said, okay. and then she had mentioned that it was her birthday, and then when Jennifer and I were talking, I had started to mention the statistics of things like sex trafficking in Florida. I know that Houston and Florida are high on sex trafficking, so I was throwing out scenarios of what we should be looking for. Did somebody grab Maddie?
Ooh, is that where Jen got that from? Remember, because Jen had kept mentioning that. She mentioned that as well. I was hoping my fear was she's being trafficked. She said that a couple times.
Videos out there, could we see footage? And Jennifer was, I believe, writing some of this down. I don't know, but she was trying to, it appeared she was giving me whatever details she could. But then after that, I went home and waited with my wife. I let my wife know Maddie was missing. We started making some social media posts to spread the word. And then on about day 2 or day 3, I just couldn't wait anymore in Texas. I felt really hopeless. And so I let Tati know that I was going to drive down to Orlando, Florida, which I did. I drove to Orlando, Florida, and I'm not sure which day I drove down. It was the 3rd day after I found out.
Well, I mean, he did leave and come when his daughter was missing. And you know, I'm glad that he did. And I remember at the time she was missing, I remember seeing his wife's post. Like, she made a ton of posts. When I looked earlier to grab the photos I showed you guys at the beginning, I wasn't able to find any of the posts that she had made when Maddie was missing. I guess she's removed them. And, you know, they've probably made a lot of stuff private or friends only going through this because of all the attention it's gotten. But I do remember at the time seeing her post.
So, and I stayed with my friend, Lynn Bradshaw, who is like a lifelong friend of mine. He lives about 20 minutes away from the area where Maddie was taken. I can pause now if you have any questions, or I can keep going.
No, keep going.
Fresh in my mind, though.
Yeah, keep going.
So at the time when I arrived at Lynn's, my initial first thought was, I'm going to fucking go out to the last known GPS location. Jennifer had sent me like a pin or a GPS location of where Maddie's disappearance would happen. And at that point, I had Lynn and I had...
Jennifer had sent her a pin of where her disappearance would happen. That was such a weird way to say that. But I mean, I'm not going to like go into any conspiracies. I don't believe anything like that. Just kind of weird the way he said it. But also a pin. Of what location? Where Stefan supposedly dropped her off, I'm assuming. And I'm going to pause when I have something to say. This is my channel. The whole point of my channel is for me to have a place to give my thoughts on different situations. If you don't like listening to me talk or my thoughts, you probably shouldn't be on my channel. If you want to watch the video without commentary for the 50 millionth time, it's in the description. It's really simple. Just click that link. Boom. You can listen to it without any interruptions.
Basically discussed the pros and cons of going to look for myself. The pros being that it would make it feel like I was doing something. The cons being that I really had no idea what I was looking for. And then that's when we started seeing like Twitter posts from the Kissimmee and various police departments saying, please do not engage in public searching. We are currently working on this. And so I feel like I just knew in my heart that shit was going bad. I was staying with Lynn to help me kind of keep my emotions in check and just watching social media, refreshing every so often to see if any news articles had come out. A bunch of my friends flew in from out of town, so I was visited by Josh Losey, who flew in from Indiana. He's been friends with me as long as Lynn. I was visited by my friend Stephanie Elaine Ashley, who flew in from Seattle. They both stayed with me for a couple of days at Lynn's place. And then they flew out. And then my wife, Tatiana, flew in. At this point, I lose track of which days or when because it just all kind of blends together. But I took notes. So if you need specific dates of when I was interacting with people, I should be able to dig that up. It's not off the top of my head.
Okay.
So
did you have any
I believe it was the night I arrived at Florida that Lynn and I got confirmation that been arrested and that there was sexual abuse tied into this whole thing.
And how did you hear that?
I can't remember when I finally I had been trying to not listen to the news, so I'm not sure when I actually finally concluded that Maddie was...
Regardless of how you feel about how present he was in her life, he lived far away. Can you imagine as a father or a parent in general, like finding that out? Oh my God. I don't know how you would control yourself to not go and take him out yourself. You know what I mean?
I can't remember if it was reading an article or if I had gotten a call. Maybe you called me. I don't really remember who told me. I just remember kind of the day that it happened.
Okay. How did you hear the news about him being arrested? Did Jennifer tell you, or did you see it on the news?
I was informed of Stefan being arrested by Tati. Who told you?
The news told me.
Okay.
The press conference.
All right. When you were here, did you and Jennifer see each other?
The only time I saw Jennifer was when I made an appearance for, I'm not sure if it was an official funeral, but I have pictures from the location and the name of the funeral house. It was a funeral house. They say that Maddie is going to be cremated in the next couple of weeks, but there was a closed casket that Jennifer's family was there, and I arrived with my separate party. I believe all interactions between me and Jennifer happened on a camera in the main thing of the funeral home. I did not speak with her anywhere else but in the funeral home. I hugged a few of her family members, and I hugged her at one point, but we shared very few words, and I was not a big fan of the hug. It was more for social purposes. But
yeah, I mean, in all honesty, to
party. I believe all interactions between me and Jennifer happened on camera in the main thing of the funeral home. I did not speak with her anywhere else but in the funeral home. I hugged a few of her family members, and I hugged her at one point, but we shared very few words, and I was not a big fan of the hug. It was more for social purposes.
I love that he clarifies that. Yeah, and all of my interactions with Jennifer were on camera. I did hug her at one point. It was whatever he said, like the fact that he had to clarify that. I was not a big fan of the hug. It was more for social purposes. Okay. Interesting.
yeah, I mean, in all honesty, our main focus right now is Maddie. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Not the relationship you and Jennifer have or have not had or whatever. That's
Acknowledged.
I don't know if some of these questions are difficult because Tatiana is listening or whatever, but I don't want like I said, our main focus right now is
that. Okay. Thank you, officer. Because that is exactly how it comes across, right? That's what I thought as well, because Tatiana's right there. We can really, I think he's scared of his wife. We can really see the dynamics of these people listening to these, right? It's pretty interesting. It's way different than reading the reports or what the officer took from this interview on the report. I don't know, Amber. I'm curious too. My 3 rosebuds, Tyler is so respectful. He is so polite. Bless it. Yeah, acknowledged. He's very polite, but he's in the service. He's been in the service for a long time. He's, that's how he's been trained to be. Yeah, you're right, Riley. Unpopular opinion, I can't imagine having a fling with a high school ex, getting her pregnant on accident, then having to have her hold it over my head and try to break up my relationship. I completely agree. NYC Baby Boomer says the fact of the matter remains that all of these people failed her. I don't disagree with you. But, at the end of the day, I can't be a hypocrite. I sit around and I think about the people who talk shit about some of these parents that aren't suspects, that haven't been proven to be involved in any way, and they just judge their parenting when their kids are missing or murdered. And I don't want to be like that. So I want to try to you guys, please feel free to your opinions. In NYC Baby Boomer, I completely understand, and I want you to voice your opinions however you feel. Just for me personally, I want to try to give grace. I do think that he's a victim in this. I truly do, regardless of anything else. I'm sure she makes him sick at this point. And the last thing I want to say before we keep listening, Riley, you mentioned you said, is that the dog leash wrapped around the seat? So I believe those are seat belts for the dogs, because this is his parents' car. And this is you remember, they're dog breeders and stuff like that. So, because we thought that at first as well.
Okay. So yes, sir, the hardest thing has already happened, which is she's dead. And I'm not okay with that. But for the purpose of cooperation and for the purpose of your investigation, I'm willing to go through emotional pain to get there. So just please continue asking what you need, and I will keep you apprised of my emotional condition.
No, I appreciate it.
Oh my God. Wow. Damn, man, that hurt my heart. This is sad.
Okay, did you and Jennifer talk about what may or may not have happened to Maddie?
Only on the initial phone call, when I threw out a couple of scenarios trying to figure out where to even start looking for myself. After that phone call was pretty much minimized between me and Jennifer. I know at some point she had her phone taken and contacted me through an alternate phone number to provide me information of where like the funeral home was. So I was in text communication with her infrequently throughout my stay in Orlando for like stuff like that. I have attempted to comfort her before I realized that Maddie was dead, but I don't think I was in Florida. That was over the phone when I was like, hey, this isn't your fault, that kind of stuff. But it's one of those things where as more and more information comes out between you and me, I'm becoming aware. I don't know what Jennifer did or didn't know. I don't know if she was aware of this happening or not. And the context of if she knew and was enabling, or if she is as much of the victim as Maddie, will dictate how comfortable I am having any. Frankly, I'm not interested in contacting her family ever again anyways. But like, it's one of those, if Jennifer is as much as a victim of this as I am, I'm content to just let them live their life in privacy. But I swear to fucking God, if I find out Jennifer was involved and enabled this, I will take whatever legal action I can.
Okay.
Oh my God, you guys. Oh, like that just hurts. That emotion, it just hurts my heart. God almighty. He's like, I don't want nothing to do with her ass anyway. Now that Maddie's gone, what the fuck is the purpose? Excuse my language. But if she was involved, I swear to God. Can you imagine? Because the whole world, I'm going to show you an interview that takes place a month after this police interview that's done on the news, where you can see the fury and the questions and everything in him. He still felt the same at that time. I'm curious how he feels now that all this evidence has came out and that they don't believe that she knew, or they're not charging her yet, and all, that kind of stuff. We heard the police tell Stefan's dad, we've went through her phone line by line. We don't believe she was part of like the pictures and that kind of stuff. Curious how he would feel now, but let's keep listening. This is a tough one though, you guys.
I just need a second. I'm sorry. I'm ramping up. I just need a second. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you think it was normal for Jennifer to call you when she went missing? Or did that seem kind of out of the blue because you guys haven't had much communication?
Jennifer almost never tells me anything. I think the only reason she told me is because she realized that I was going to find out eventually.
Okay.
But I can't confirm or deny that. That's just me speculating.
Wow.
Okay. Has she told you in the past any issues that Maddie may have had or has not had, like parenting stuff? Or
about 2 years ago when I was in prison is when I heard that Maddie had received a diagnosis for autism, which is something that I always thought that maybe I dealt with.
There you go, Amber. When I was in prison, whoa. Looks like, Lisa, that answered your question. What? I didn't even know. I didn't know that. And Amber, that answered your question. Tyler went to prison in the military. He and some other doodlers stole some bond or explosives. NYC baby boomer. Interesting. He did say prison. Okay. Was not expecting that either. That was a curveball, Lindsay. Yes, it was. Oh my, prison? Hey, lovely lyrics. He sounds a lot like someone I know on the spectrum. Interesting. B Crumbs didn't know. Claws. Wow. Stole bombs. Wow. Okay. It was not a violent crime. Okay. Thank you, Undead Roman. Ramen. Look, my kids make fun of me all the time because I say ramen noodles. I know it's ramen. I'm going to try good to say your name right. But yeah, even the little ones make fun of me for that one. It was a military crime. Wow, he is really great in the interview. I feel for this man, Dreadful Artist says. Stealing bombs is pretty serious. I heard that it wasn't violent. He explains. Okay, thank you, Carol. All right, let's keep going, you guys. Wow, I guess so, TK. All right.
Autistic traits that I have, and the short version of the story here is I believe my daughter did not have autism, and I believe I don't have autism. I believe we have autistic traits that are symptoms of PTSD.
Oh, okay. She called poison control to see what Stefan gave Maddie after she said he gave her
realizing that it wasn't a genetic autistic trait that I passed on to Maddie. It was probably her having similar developmental conditions that I had as a child that I was recognizing in her.
Oh.
And that's real fucking hard to deal with, man.
Okay.
I wish I had seen the signs, but I just didn't. I was just trying to get a relationship with Maddie on the back end. I've been so patient waiting to have my turn with my little girl.
Oh my God. I am so sorry for him.
And then this shit happens, and I just don't know what to think. I'm just processing. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Oh my God.
Have you ever met Jennifer's boyfriend, Stefan?
I don't think so. I think I've only ever seen pictures of him on Instagram. I'm trying to remember that. I didn't remember when Stefan came into Jennifer's life, but I've done some research on Reddit, and according to a local post that I found, it looks like he may have entered her life around 2018, which I would have still been in Kansas at that time. I do remember talking to Jennifer about Stefan and being like, hey, I'm low-key uncomfortable with you just bringing a guy around my kid. But that was one of those things where it's like, I didn't really feel like I had a choice. I didn't really feel like I had to say. Jennifer has always seemed pretty comfortable with Stefan. I knew he was a biomechanical engineer from what Jennifer told me, which always weirded me out on
What? A biomechanic? What? Hold on.
biomechanical engineer went with Jennifer. Like, I'm not saying she's a terrible person, but I just...
I'm sorry, you guys. You know, I got to talk. It's my channel, and I got lots to say. I'm so sorry, but wait a minute. A biomechanical engineer? And then he said, what would a biomechanical engineer want something to, what would they want anything to do with Jennifer for? Hold up. Let's hear that again. Somebody fill me in if I'm missing something, because, all I know about Stefan is he's a bumming, scumming, lazy, grimy, shiny. Yeah, okay.
I'm comfortable with you just bringing a guy around my kid, but that was one of those things where it's like, I didn't really feel like I had a choice. I didn't really feel like I had to say. Jennifer's always seemed to be comfortable with Stefan. I knew he was a biomechanical engineer from what Jennifer told me, which always weirded me out on what the fuck would a biomechanical engineer want with Jennifer. Like, I'm not saying she's a terrible person, but I just didn't see what traits of her would attract somebody like that. And so I do have a working theory with what I think happened. I'm aware that this is all speculation, but if you'd like to hear that, I will share with you what I suspect may have happened.
Okay, yeah, we want to hear. And I hope that he let some humanimal, when he says, what does a biomechanical engineer want to do with Jennifer, is effing funny, to be honest. I completely agree. And I just picture, like, you know, that like meme where everybody's in a circle and they're like, oh, doing the like burn. After he says that. Wow. So she lied to him so he didn't think he was such a bum. Interesting. Yeah. Aerospace systems engineer, part-time from home. Do you guys know the what I'm talking about? Like with all the guys standing up and they're like, oh, after somebody does like a, as my kids would say it, like a sick burn or something, you know. Could it have been Imagineer? Disney term? I don't know, Sarah. Amber, you know what I'm talking about. B crumbs. Thank you, guys. Saw that meme yesterday. Oh, burn. Vera, I'm going to press play, honey. We're about to get there. We got to talk through this. If somebody just wants to listen, though, it's in the description. I got to show you. We'll talk more about this at the end. Let me.
Okay. What do you think happened?
Oh.
So the only thing that makes sense to me at this point is I've heard stories that possibly Stefan had stabbed somebody when he was 14 and that his dad had moved him across country. I've heard an article that maybe a former roommate had seen on Stefan's computer and that Stefan's mother had paid off the roommate. I don't know the veracity of those things, but those are what got me thinking on the mindset of, okay, so if his family moved him to avoid legal consequences for deviant behavior in the past, and he claims he worked at Disney, which I know Jennifer has always been around Disney. And so I'm thinking to myself, what would a predator do to find access to a child? Maybe they would go get a job at some place like Disney where there's high access passively to children and just observe. And then when he located a child that was of his taste, he saw that Maddie was approaching Jennifer regularly, introduced himself. It has always been my opinion that Jennifer has not been as attentive of a mother as I would like. I feel like my daughter got passed around Jennifer's family for things like daycare quite often. And then whenever I wanted to get into contact with Maddie, it was difficult because I never knew when she was going to be more available. And I think that maybe Stefan saw that as a predator and saw that that was a pretty easy environment to insert himself into their life. then suspect he set up a and what creates what at what point I become curious watching shows like Dexter or things like that is, okay, what fucked up their schedule then? How did he go from this patient calculating monster who did all of these things to being emotionally incompetent and disposing of a body off the side of a fucking road? I just don't understand what changed their behavior. And I say fair because I started watching. It took me a couple of days to have the emotional space, but I started watching interviews of them when they were reaching out to the news outlets. Jennifer told me they were going to reach out to the news outlets when Maddie was missing, so I knew she had done that, but I just hadn't watched the interviews.
Hold on, I think I have it sped up, and I want to slow it down and rewind that part. Yeah, I didn't mean to have it sped up. That's yesterday. We were a little bit behind. I want to hear his tone in this, and I want to hear that part again. Lindsay says, what's wild is thinking back to when all this information was breaking online and Maddie's dad was taking in that same contents like Gray's interviews with people who knew Stefan. Lindsay, I'm so glad you bring that up because you're 100% correct. And here's the thing. There has been a creator. His name's T-Rev. One of the people that he used to be friends with. See, he had someone call in his show that knew Stefan. And guess what? It was a friend and it was all lies and bullshit and they were pretending to know him. It's some of the most sick stuff that could even possibly happen surrounding a case like this. But we have to remember that when we're hearing all of that, we can't take it as facts, any of it. Honestly, we can, obviously try to listen to it, decipher it, whatever, but taking it as 100% fact, even if the news puts it out, I don't take it as a fact until we see it in police interviews, police documents, in court. Till we see it like that, that is the only way we can be certain of the truth for sure. That's just the way I like to look at stuff with true crime. And now I'll pay attention to other stuff and I'll certainly consider it. But yeah. Oh, goodness. I grew up in Kentucky, Ohio. Yeah, dreadful artist. I didn't know that Ohio meant cringe to the kids these days, but apparently it does. And when the kids were telling me this, I was actually on the phone with Wolfie, and she was like, no, for real. They're saying real stuff that really does mean that. I just saw a video. So I don't know. Okay. Doesn't that T-Rev guy have, I think so, Riley. I think he pretend to know someone, had someone pretend to know Brian Koberger as well. But happy you're saying that people have to do their own research if taking a strong opinion on it. Absolutely. Always do your own research. Always try to look at the original source. Like here, we're listening to this. I've linked the original source, but when we're looking at articles, you can see, always just try to look for the original source. And when it's a random person coming online claiming this or that, don't ever take it as fact until we know for sure, that it is through police. It's just a smart way to do true crime. Things are really getting out of hand these days. There's a lot of drama channels that are calling themselves true crime that are sitting around for hours just discussing rumors and possibilities and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people in these chats that hear that stuff and they take it as fact. And I don't want you guys to do that. It's already hard enough on the heart and the soul. It is. All right. Now let's hear this again.
And he claims he worked at Disney, which I know Jennifer has always been around Disney. And so I'm thinking to myself, what would a predator do to find access to a child? Maybe they would go get a job at some place like Disney where there's high access passively to children and just observe. And then when he located a child that was of his taste, maybe he saw that Maddie was approaching Jennifer regularly, introduced himself. It has always been my opinion that Jennifer has not been as attentive of a mother as I would like. I feel like my daughter got passed around Jennifer's family for things like daycare quite often, and that whenever I wanted to get into contact with Maddie, it was difficult because I never knew when she was going to be home or available.
Music City Mom.
And I think that maybe Stefan saw that as a predator and saw that that was a pretty easy environment to insert himself into their life. I then suspect he set up a... And at what point I become curious watching shows like Dexter or things like that is, okay, what fucked up their schedule then? How did he go from this patient calculating monster who did all of these things to being emotionally incompetent and disposing of a body off the side of a fucking road. I just don't understand what changed their behavior. And I say there because I started watching.
Wow.
It took me a couple of days to have the emotional space, but I started watching interviews of them when they were reaching out to the news outlets. Jennifer told me they were going to reach out to the news outlets.
Okay. Hey, Mark Milligan. Good to see you. Always so happy to see you. You guys know anytime that Mark comes in, I mentioned to you guys his brother who's missing. His name is Harry Milligan. He's been missing for a long time. Please, if you have some time, do a Google search and look into that. There's a Dateline episode, a Facebook group. That would mean so much to me. But I also want to say Mark is retired law enforcement and family of a missing person. So he has, his input is especially important in these situations, in my opinion, to listen to and take into consideration. He says, rumors do nothing but destroy lives in cases like this and make it harder for police to find the truth. I completely agree. Absolutely agree. And it's really a shame where some of this true crime has gotten. It's just so sad if you really look and pay attention at how some of these cases spiral out of control like that. And so many people getting lost in it when, look, there are tons of missing people out there. There's lots of cases that need attention, and we really need to go on the facts and evidence. And like I said, unless it comes from police, we cannot say that it's a fact. We just can't. I don't care if it's on the news gets stuff wrong. I don't care if so-and-so says it and they're close to I don't care what. If it doesn't come from police or court documents or whatever, that's the only way we can be certain it's the truth. Thank you, Mark.
So I knew she had done that, but I just hadn't watched the interviews. And when I watched the interviews, Stefan is in a couple of them. And I was watching his body language, but then because I was doing that and some YouTube videos about body language came out, I was looking at Jennifer's body language. And it's like, I saw very strong emotions in her, but they seemed like anxiety, like not grief, she was waiting at home while our daughter was still missing. Like that, I literally can't wrap my brain around that. It doesn't make sense to me.
Mm.
And so what I suspect happened is something that they couldn't avoid, something like maybe or something, and they realized like, oh fuck, we can't get an abortion, you can't hide this. Maybe they did something. I don't know if Jennifer was involved or wasn't. Maybe Stefan did all this on his own and she just found out. That's where my head is at, and that's why I was like, you know what, I think I want to set up separate updates with the police department, because I just don't know. I just don't like the fact that everything I know about my daughter has been filtered through that family to me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame him.
I'm sorry. That's my piece.
No, I don't blame him at all. He needs to have direct, constant communication with law enforcement, in my opinion. I would if I was him, and you can't blame him.
Okay. Have you, you and Jennifer were together, was she on any kind of medication or anything like that? Or do you know if she's been on any medication since?
She was never open with me when we were together. I do know that since we dated, she's been diagnosed with bipolar. I don't know what medication she's currently on, but I know that she's been on medications as hardcore as lithium in the past.
Okay. What about Maddie?
These are the contents of Maddie's
I don't remember the names of the medications, but I was informed when Maddie came to visit me that she was on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication. Do you know the names of
Just wanted to tell you guys, so what you're seeing on the screen right now, those are the contents of Maddie's book bag. Remember, Stefan at 7:30 is seen on cameras. We saw this in some of the reports that have been released. At 7:30, he's seen on cameras at the complex, at the apartment complex, condo complex, whatever you want to call it, at the dumpster, throwing a bag away, which contains Maddie's book bag, Maddie's school computer, and one crock. On the screen, those pictures that are being played in the background are the contents of that bag and that book bag.
Yes, hydroxyzine was one of them. She would take
Amen.
at night. I didn't feel comfortable giving because I take hydroxyzine to go to sleep, and so I was only one while she was here.
Oh, okay.
With us visiting. The other one was Miralax, so she could go to the restroom regularly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you were giving her the medication to help her sleep, did she have a prescription bottle with her?
Yes, there's a prescription bottle.
And on the prescription, did it say? So that's what the doctor prescribed her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tyler, did you have any discussions with Jennifer about medicine that Abby was taking or Maddie was taking?
Abby.
Never.
Me too,
Okay.
dreadful.
Did I remember? I don't think Jennifer ever really told me about their visits. It was just that when I was responsible for Maddie, she'd rattle off a list of what I was responsible to make sure she got.
Okay. And when Maddie come to visit you, what were the sleeping arrangements like?
Maddie slept in the bed with Topsy. I wanted to sleep with them and kind of make a little Maddie sandwich, and she was not very keen on that idea, so she made sure that I slept on the couch.
Wow. Oh, okay, hold on. Maddie slept in the bed with Tati, his wife, Tatiana. He wanted to sleep like with Maddie in the middle of the two of them, and she wasn't very keen on that. And then so the hydroxyzine is like, it's a prescription antihistamine. It's used for anxiety. I don't even know if it's used for like as an antihistamine. I've only seen it used as anxiety medication or to help you sleep, that kind of thing. That is interesting. She wasn't too keen on it. Okay. Let's keep listening.
Sometimes we'd cuddle, but yeah, that was the sleeping arrangements. Is usually she'd sleep in the bedroom with Tati, and I'd sleep on the couch.
I guess Maddie, me.
Okay, whose idea was it to have what you referred to as like the Maddie sandwich? Who wasn't uncomfortable with it, Tatiana or Maddie?
I believe it was Maddie who was uncomfortable with it. She didn't straight up say, "I don't want to cuddle," but she would cuddle with me when it was just me and her, and I believe she'd cuddle with you when it was just you and her. But when we were together, she would become a little bit more shy, is the word I would use.
Gotcha. Okay.
Wow, interesting. And I don't see anything wrong with the dad snuggling their daughter. I mean, I didn't do it at that age, my dad was like, he's the most amazing dad, but he was never like super big on like physical love, hugs, stuff like that. So I didn't do that. However, I did sleep with my parents. I remember like not every night, but sleeping in their bed occasionally until I was like 9 years old in between them, like he's saying. So that is just so weird, or so strange, that he says Maddie wasn't comfortable with it because she was afraid because of her mom and Stefan, Teresa says. I don't believe Jen that Maddie wanted to sleep with them, Teresa says. Hey, Nicole B. Yeah, Maddie's sandwich is a bit disturbing. She hardly knew him, in my opinion. Yeah, but I mean, I could see why you would think that for sure. For me, I just kind of see it as... So the last time he's seen her, she was 12. But before that, previously, it was when she was 10. It had been 2 years. So when she's littler, it would make more sense, whatever. I'm not going to judge him because like I said, I don't know if you were here, Nicole, but I don't want to be a hypocrite. I sit around here almost every day, just absolutely disgusted and heartbroken over the way these people online treat parents of missing kids, murdered kids that aren't involved, and that aren't a huge part of what happened. I mean, I still don't think that I still have my feelings about Jen too, but so I want to try not to be judgmental of him and how much time he spent with Maddie and how he might say things just because of that. Because like I said, I sat around here just so frustrated day in and day out, seeing some of the things that go on here.
Okay.
With people that obviously were
sleep
involved.
at night, me having children myself, sometimes children, they kind of flop all over the place when they're sleeping. Did you notice anything like that with Maddie?
Yes, I will say I also sleep like that, and Tati had commented on how Maddie sleeps just like me. I very much thrash a lot, and Maddie was a kicker and a mover and a thrasher.
Okay, did it seem like she got good night's sleep, or she was up and down?
She, once I gave her the medicine, she was fine. She would go to sleep. Without the medication, she was more like me, though, where insomnia would set in, and in the evening, our emotions would. She literally told me one night, "I'm so sorry, my medication is wearing off. I'm having big mood swings. They're crazy." And so, yeah, I wake up with an elbow in my face, but to get her up in the morning was the issue, because she never wanted to get up on the first shake, or not even the second. So I just chalked it up to her being more like Tyler, because it takes him a while to get up in the morning. Mm-hmm. But no, you think it was the medication? Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Do you know? You may not know this. Do you know if Jennifer was taking that same type of medicine?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Right, Natasha.
Did she talk about her relationship with Jen and her relationship with Stefan?
Hit myself a little bit.
I asked her if her mother and Stephen were still together, and she says no, they're not together. She, loved her mom. Mm-hmm. Because every time I would make a little bit of a snarky comment, she would correct me and say everybody's beautiful in their own way. And
let me rewind
we
a
never
second.
Together, and she says,
and no, I don't care. You guys are free to say you find any of what you're free to have any opinion. Just me, that's just how I'm feeling. I can definitely see why you guys are like, whoa, that's kind of odd. Because like I said, my dad was not at all very he not touchy lovey, just he shows his love in other ways. Even with my kids, they do fist bump, good night fist bump. He's a germaphobe too. So I'm used to not having my dad want to snuggle me and stuff like that. I don't care how you guys feel. I'm not judging you for how you feel, no matter what. I want you to feel free to voice that. I'm just telling you guys how I feel. That's all.
No, they're not together.
No.
She, loved her mom. Mm-hmm. Because every time I would make a little bit of a snarky comment, she would correct me and say everybody's beautiful in their own way.
Wait, so what kind of snarky comment did you make about her mom? You're talking about her mom's looks to her? Ouch. I don't know that that's probably the best idea. That's surely what it seems like she's saying here. And, oh, poor Maddie, everybody's beautiful in their own way. My goodness, you guys.
And okay. We never really talked about Stephen when she was around, just to say that they weren't together.
How was her demeanor when she answered that?
It was kind of well, they're not together, whatever. Just...
Would you call that dismissive?
Dismissive, yeah.
Okay, so upset or angry or just kind of
right, Meg.
How would
kind of emotional reaction? Did she seem like she was uncomfortable? Did she seem how did she seem to you? She just seemed like she was just casually talking to me. It wasn't a angry emotion or anything like that. That's kind of the problem. Is I would ask surface level questions on if she was happy, but she always answered pretty vaguely, and so I just truly never knew anything was wrong. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Keep talking. Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you. So she was just kind of just dismissive. We were just talking oh yeah, they're not together anymore. And I'm okay.
Okay. I know hindsight is 20/20. And you guys kind of only had a couple interactions with her yearly. but did you see any change in her personality over the last couple years? Do you know anything that stands out?
I felt like the last time we met in October was the only time we ever really saw each other, is how I would describe it. But I'm being metaphorical when I say I saw her for the first time and she saw me for the first time, and it really felt like we connected. Other than that, it's always been like she hasn't felt like I'm sorry, this is just father talk, but it's like I've been watching her grow, but she hasn't felt like a whole person with her own questions and curiosity and motivations until the last time I saw her. She seemed like more an adult than a child. And it's not that it bothered me, it's just that it made me curious on what caused the sudden change in growth. Like, she went from being a silly little girl to being what I would describe as a Euphoria character, which Euphoria is a show all about kids who are dealing with crazy levels of trauma.
Oh,
You referring?
which she went from, oh my God, which we know she was dealing with crazy levels of trauma. She had been Stefan had been doing this to her since she was 8 years old, you guys. Just a baby. That picture of them in the pool. I mean, she's so little.
To the show with
I think her name is Zendaya.
Zendaya, yes. Okay.
And I watched that show recently with my wife, and then when my daughter came to this, I couldn't stop thinking about that show. Just because I don't know how to explain it. These young girls have this 1,000-mile look on their face that I would expect out of like Vietnam veterans, not fucking little girls. Like, I'm not saying that there wasn't trauma there. I'm saying as a man who has experienced trauma, that's what confuses me, is how so many young girls have that look in their eyes of like.
How often did you have contact with Maddie prior to October?
Okay, just 1 second. I want to show you guys. I've searched Zendaya on Euphoria, and I want to show you what comes up. So we have, they make her look like she's got some maybe dark circles under her eyes, and just like, I think his description was actually a pretty good description. I've never seen this show. I know some of you guys have, and you've also kind of echoed what he said. It's about a lot of trauma. I don't know. I remember, all I know about it is I remember when the show came out, there were so many people in the makeup community doing like makeup with these jewels on the face. And I remember seeing a lot of that. I honestly didn't know it was something that was so heavy, but look what comes up when you search it. TV show cast, Coleman wallpaper, show, and then crying. Like, there she is crying. That's really so sad that's the way he pictured his own daughter. But I mean, gosh, if you kept thinking of that, it's just like, I don't know, another instance of another red flag that was missed, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
How often? It was infrequent, unfortunately. I struggle with ADHD, and so did Maddie. And what that looks like for us is really bad time blindness and realizing you haven't talked to people for months and then reaching out awkwardly and trying to.
I mean, I would text her.
Me too, Trulia.
How often
I've
would you text
with
her?
regular communication. And earlier in Maddie's life, Jennifer used to give me really big issues about that. And then I thought Jennifer was growing as a person because I couldn't tell you when, but just sometime halfway through Maddie's life, Jennifer just became a lot less judgmental and mean about it. She was just like, hey, I get it. You
Right,
have stuff
Julia.
going on. We have stuff going on. And so I felt like that was us getting close. Like, I felt like that was Jennifer understanding us more at a time, but now I'm here.
Well, it's kind of, I look at this kind of the way that I think of Billy Joe and Quentin Simon's case. Some of these people that their decisions or, lack of protecting these kids may have led to something so horrific like it has with Quentin and Maddie. I think they will be punishing themselves for the rest of their lives. I really do. And I think that it's going to be incredibly hard to live with themselves, like with Billy Joe. So I try to take it easy on her, because you can tell she loved that baby. You could see her grieving. I mean, it's just so obvious, clear as day. And Jennifer too, as far as that goes, if she's not punished, will she be punishing herself for the rest of her life? I don't know. I don't know. Should she? My opinion, God, it sounds cold, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. Yeah. And even with Billy Joe, I think that, look, I've told you guys before, to me, impact goes much further than intention. You may intend to do something good or not intend to do something bad, but when someone's life is horrifically changed forever because of it, or ended after being horrifically abused, then should you live with some guilt? Probably so. I'm not certain I don't know. I'm not saying I'm the one who gets to decide what everyone deserves based on their actions. However, that is kind of how I feel. So it is what it is.
All right. But going back to, you say it's infrequent on how many times you spoke with Maddie. So are we talking once a month?
Some weeks we would talk every day just because our schedules allowed us. And then sometimes we would go, I think, a couple of months without really interacting in any way.
Okay. All right.
And that was pretty typical of our relationship. Just very high intensity communication for a time, and then kind of dormancy.
Gotcha. Okay. Anything else? All right. So I will do my best to keep you abreast of this investigation. Whatever information I share with Jennifer,
Absolutely.
I will share with you. This is a pretty high-profile case, as you can tell by it's made national news and stuff like that. So the stuff that we release is going to be very minimal, and it's not to say anything against you and or Jennifer. It's just when we do these types of investigations, we keep a lot of stuff close-knit just because you have, if you want to quote-unquote armchair quarterbacks that look into these things, and we don't need that happening.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, now they've released a ton of evidence. I suppose the way that I understood it during the press conference was, as soon as Stefan was given it in discovery, it could be made available to the public by request. And we are, still waiting on the trial, both trials.
So, acknowledged. That's exactly why I stopped coming up with my own scenarios and wanted to reach out to you, as I realized I was myself joining in on the armchair quarterbacking, and that is very much not what we want to do in this situation.
Yeah. So you may hear from me on a daily basis, or you may hear from maybe a few days or a week or so before I contact you again. Okay?
But this is in March.
Completely understood, sir. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any questions for us that we might be able to answer for you?
Give me a minute to think. Sorry, you may ask whatever you have.
Would it be possible if we could reach out to a victim service advocate?
Yes, I will take your number down, and I will have our victim advocate reach out to you.
Okay, because the press is kind of getting to the point where they're contacting us every day.
So my question to you is, I was, until recently, physically in Orlando. I was originally going to try to make myself physically available to you guys, but frankly, the emotional weight was tearing up my friends' lives too. This is really heavy shit, and I'm just trying to take care of my family and myself. So my question to you is, do we need to be ready to come down there at some time, or are we trying to kind of make our way back to Texas at this point? I don't know what I should be doing in this case.
It is honestly really sad to me what these people go through dealing with the press and stuff, because think about it. They're going through the worst moment of their lives, stuff that many of us will never experience. And I don't know. It's not fair. I mean, life's not fair. I understand that, and I'm never going to expect it to be, but it's just sad.
case?
Yeah, you can go back to Texas. If we need you, or if we need to become face to face with you to gather more information, something like that, we will make a trip out to see you.
Okay, outstanding. In the meantime, would it be acceptable behavior if I were to, say, travel to visit my parents in Kansas, or is that something you would advise against at this time?
No, absolutely.
My parents just haven't been able to come down to Florida to grieve with us, so that was kind of my, like, not this week, but in a month, I intend to visit my parents in
Now remember, this call is in March, and I'm going to show you an interview as soon as this is over in 2 minutes that took place in April.
Kansas. Should that be acceptable?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
As for the press, I know you said the press has been contacting you. Once again, you're adults. I can't tell you what or what not to do. Only thing I can do.
Anybody at this point in time. We'll talk with victims advocates and legal representation to figure out if that's in the case's best interest at any point. But I have no horse in this race. I'm content to just stay off of the pages and grieve in private.
Okay, so what I would do though is any press that reaches out to you or something like that, if you do not want to talk to them, you can always defer them to our police department, and our public information officer will handle all those requests.
I appreciate that. I will direct any further people to reach out through you guys.
Okay.
Is there a number, or in fact, if I was going to, what should I say when I'm directing them? Is there a number or an email I should give them?
Just tell them no comment. You can contact the Kissimmee Police Department. That's all you got to say.
No comment. Let's contact Kissimmee Police Department. Thank you so much.
You got it. And I will be in touch with you, like I said, in the next few days. I'll probably reach back out to you.
Outstanding. I appreciate that.
All right. Yes, sir. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want to remove or delete anybody unless they're obviously trolling. And if they are, then we can do that. I just want to allow people to have their opinions, but not allow trolling and disrespect, because at the end of the day, this is about a 13-year-old little girl. Who in the hell? I mean, my God, do you have nothing better to do? Who in the hell would go and troll a chat that is discussing something like this that happened to a fucking child? I'm sorry, but you gotta, your priorities are all screwed up if you're willing to do that, or you must have, I don't know, be really bored. I just could never, ever, ever imagine myself doing that. It's just wild. But anyways, okay. So the mods will take care of it. I saw someone say there might be a troll here. I'm not sure. I haven't seen, because I've been watching other screens and all that kind of stuff. I do trust the mods to make a good decision as far as that goes. We try not to. Honestly, I really like to just remove comments if someone says something inappropriate. I don't want to hide or time out unless it's, really bad. But otherwise, yeah, it is so wrong to go and troll any missing unalive child's case. It's unbelievable. How I don't understand. I think that if you are doing that, maybe you should take just step back for a minute and really think about what's wrong with you, what you're needing to feel better or whatever. Weird. Okay. So that was in March. Now, this is in April. Sorry, I was trying to just watch the chat while I was pulling this up. So we are going to listen to their interview, which is very interesting. But let me just read some of this. So this weekend, Madeline Soto's biological father visited the site where his daughter's body was found in St. Cloud. 9 Investigates reporter Shannon Butler sat down with Tyler Wallace on Friday to talk about his daughter and her death. Wallace did not put any restrictions on the questions, but he did not want to talk about why he had no idea what his daughter was going through. Interesting. Right? Okay, so he also does not want other fathers to suffer the same regrets. Seemed like a lot of people had no idea what she was going through. That's why it can be good to talk about these things. I mean, there were a lot of red flags. I think people might see these red flags in their daily life and not really think it's as serious or whatever, but now, hopefully when people see these red flags, if they've seen something like this, they'll pay attention and maybe take it a little more seriously. Tyler and Tatiana saw Madeline in October of 2023. They had no idea it would be the last time. The couple kept in touch, paid child support, and gave a little extra for flute lessons. But because they lived thousands of miles away from Madeline and finances were tight, they rarely saw her. They had seen her he talks about, I'm not going to read what he says because we're getting ready to watch it. On Friday, Wallace said he was trying to get Maddie's ashes to bring home. His attorney did get those ashes from Jennifer Soto, and he and his family are heading back home. Okay, so let's pull this up. Remember, this takes place about a month after what we just heard. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. It doesn't really seem like he had many answers at this point. Okay. So let me turn up the volume and the closed captioning on, and let's have a listen.
Visited the site where his little girl's body was found, and tonight we have more of our exclusive interview with Tyler Wallace. Good evening. I'm Martha Sigalski.
I'm Darlene Jones. Investigative reporter Shannon Butler sat down with him to talk about his daughter, her death, and the man investigators have called the prime suspect in her murder but have not arrested. She's live here in the studio with us, and Shannon, quite an interview.
Yeah, Tyler Wallace did not put any restrictions on the questions I could ask him, but he did ask one thing of me, to talk about why he had no idea his daughter was going through what she was and why he doesn't want other dads to suffer with the same regrets. Tyler and Tiana Wallace saw Madeline Soto in October.
So Mark, oh my gosh, if you aren't familiar with this case and you do start looking at it, it's one you can't look away from. But I guess because of the sunshine laws in Florida, they have released so much information. First, there was like a 900-page police report. Then there was like two that were around like 60 and 80 pages. They've released photos, all the interviews. They've released, a ton of stuff. And mom's boyfriend, which was an ex-boyfriend, had been doing this to Maddie since she was 8 years old. When they found his phone, first of all, he said he accidentally factory deleted his phone, or factory reset his phone, and deleted everything. So obviously that's a red flag, but they found, over 1,000 photos with Maddie. But then his dad turned in a hard drive and a thumb drive, and they found 35,000 images of CSAM, that hadn't been touched since 2020. So previous to what was happening to Maddie, or maybe it ended on those hard drives. I'm sure it never stopped right when he started doing this to Maddie. And it was horrific. And also, there are a couple things that could be motives that have been revealed. And then I'm going to play this just for people, like a little catch up. We know that Maddie told Stefan she had a crush about a week before he took her life. We also know that she had missed her period. She was supposed to have a period around February the 1st, and she didn't. And having listened to the interviews with her mom and with police, we know that this is something police were concerned about, and they brought to the attention of her mom. So we haven't seen the autopsy yet. We aren't certain on all the details, but it does appear she missed her period as well. So, okay, so let me press play again and let's listen together.
I've always wanted to see her more.
We're supposed to have so much more.
Tyler and Tatiana Wallace saw Madeline Soto in October of last year, and they had no idea it would be the last.
She meant everything to us.
The couple kept in touch, paid child support, and gave a little extra for things like flute lessons. But because it...
Okay. No, Undead Ramen, he said it in his interview too. He actually said it as well. Jen said in her interview that Maddie told Stefan that, but then he talked about it in his interview, the one that's on camera. Oh, Missy's Angels, awesome. Thank you. And hey, Adrian, good to see you. Okay.
they lived thousands of miles away from Madeline and finances were tight, they rarely saw her.
Was there something that concerned you? Was there a sign? Did you think something was wrong? Not really, no. I didn't know. I didn't know. I just wish she would have told me. We had her in October. We had her in October. And I just wish she would have told me. I would have taken her away from that.
It's something that will haunt her father forever.
I just wish I could have seen her more. I wish I could have had her more. And I struggle with that. I will always struggle with that.
Tyler told us that Stephen Stearns was in Madeline's life for at least 5 years. He didn't know him well, but had no reason to believe that he would soon be arrested, accused of sexual battery, and with having dozens of graphic recordings. And now there are so many questions about what happened and why.
I don't know yet the whole story, and it's painful to be in that state of waiting to understand how I feel. But the truth is, I don't know how I feel yet. It's hard. It's flip-flopping and speculating, and that's difficult. That takes a toll on you.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine. I'm sure it would, just not knowing for sure and wondering, what if this, what if that? So, yeah, Mo, they must have changed their mind. You hear them in the interview say, you know, they don't want to deal with the press. This is about a month later when they do this interview. And, yeah, I guess they, you know, sat around and decided they did want to. And I'm sure they continued reaching out to the family, right, asking for interviews. But yeah.
And that's why I'm just trying to grieve privately with my family and process this loss for us.
Mm.
And I do want support from the public, but I don't feel right sending mobs and pitchforks. I want to focus on Maddie and her loss and what I could have.
I'm assuming that he means towards Jennifer. Another thing, they do have a lot of evidence on this guy, and he's seen on camera with her in the car, unconscious in an unnatural position. That's how they put it. That he's seen on camera pulling into a car parking garage, putting her body into the trunk. Like there's just so much camera footage of him and everywhere he went. I've investigated a lot of cases similar to this, and I don't care what anyone says. The people around the child know there is always signs. Really interesting, because there are so many signs that we can see. Hell, the teacher and the counselor, they did interviews. The counselor said, you know, she was always looking sad. The teacher said she was very tired, missing class a lot, making D's and F's, sleeping in class. I mean, there are so many signs that we can see now looking in. It is pretty shocking to be like, how did people not know something was wrong? So many people. So that is so interesting coming from somebody who's actually worked cases like this. And I so appreciate your opinion. I just find it so insightful, and yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing.
Have done better, not as a guilting mouth thing, but as helping other fathers who are struggling to have relationships with their children.
And Tyler will continue to fight for answers and try to find a way to move on.
Maddie's not here to speak for herself. You are here to speak for her. What do you want people to know after all this is said and done? There's probably a few things.
It's not fair. Life isn't fair. You know, I loved my little girl. We were patient. We were taking our time. By our belief, we were doing everything right. And it just happened.
Wow. So when he cries, we do see real tears. And there's so many times when we watch these people and people are like, I don't see tears. I don't see tears. Well, I do see real emotion, and my heart breaks for him. This is just so sad. Mark says, the minute a child begins to make drastic changes as a parent, you have to start asking. And this is something we all need to remember. You know, I'm not allowing anybody around my kids. I'm sorry, but there's just no world in which my kids will be alone with any adults besides me, their dad, or their grandparents. And that's just that. I don't trust anybody. Nicole B. I'm sorry. You're silly, but I wanted to link this article for you guys, so it's dropping in the chat right now. Okay.
Happen like this, and there's no the rest of her life. There's no the back half. There's no making up for it. There's no improving. It's just done now.
On Friday, we told you he was.
Wait, I think there's actually one other one. Hold on. Hold on, let me pull up Grizzly's YouTube channel, Grizzly True Crime. You know, she is on top of everything because I think there was more to that interview that wasn't on that link. So let's just take a look and see. Grizzly, Madeline, Soto, father. And I'll drop Grizzly's link too. She just does an excellent job, in my opinion. And yeah, I really appreciate the work she puts into her channel. And let me tell you, she puts a lot into it. She timestamps everything. She's just, yeah, she's really good. State attorney's statement to the press. She's got that here. His interview. Okay. So let's come over here. We actually might watch this, the state attorney's statement to the press. But first, let me see.
Maddie was just the most important person to my wife and I. She was just full of joy.
Tyler Wallace had last spoken to his daughter on her birthday. He had no idea it would be the last time.
We're just going to re-listen to see if there's anything that we missed. I'm going to drop Grizzly's link right now in the chat.
Did you find out?
I was informed through a phone call from Jennifer that she was missing.
What was her demeanor?
Jennifer's?
Was she calm? Was she freaking out?
I would say anxious.
The next morning, he got in his car and drove from Texas to Florida, only stopping for gas. But shortly after he got here, Madeline Soto's body was found in this rural area of Osceola County. Her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, is charged with sexual battery and possession of child sex abuse material. He is the main suspect in her murder after investigators say Stearns is on video dumping her backpack and laptop in a dumpster in the early morning hours of the day Maddie was reported missing. Did your daughter ever indicate that something was going on in that house?
Not to me, no.
What did you think of Stephen Stearns?
I had interacted with him on Instagram a couple of times loosely, just kind of seeing if he gave me the ick or if he seemed okay.
Sorry to pause it there. Janie Child says, wow, she looks like him. I can go back.
We're not going to worry
So
about
what are
her
your thoughts?
commentary.
Did your daughter ever indicate that something was going on in that house?
Not to me, no.
What did you think of Stephen Stearns?
I had interacted with him on Instagram a couple of times loosely, just kind of seeing if he gave me the ick or if he seemed okay. And as far as I was interpreting his demeanor, he seemed like a warm, interested, but like not responsive, very often person.
What do you think of him?
Warm, interested, but not very.
Okay.
Lots of people we've seen.
Pretty certainly.
I don't know. And I am. No.
Tyler met with Kissimmee police about their ongoing investigation. But do you think that Jennifer Soto knows more?
I don't know. And I am interested in knowing, but I don't have reason to believe one way or the other right now. These are the things that the investigators are looking into.
And now he won't get that chance. Instead, he's here to take the little girl's ashes home to be with him now. Was Jen a good mother?
You notice that head shake and the no. It's like the body language. Like, okay, watch his body language when she asks.
I don't.
That chance. Instead, he's here to take the little girl's ashes home to be with him now. Was Jen a good mother?
I don't know how I can excuse this.
Yes.
I don't know how I can excuse this.
Thank you.
I don't know the whole truth, though.
I'm sorry, but I love that. There is no excusing this. I'm not saying that she was involved in taking Maddie's life or even the SA. I'm not saying she was there involved in it. But at the end of the day, like I've told you guys, like impact over intention, you know, and that's just the way I see things. I don't think that people should be reaching out to her, attacking her, going to her house, you know, nothing like that. I think that we need to let everything play out in the legal system. And these officers aren't happy with her. If you were here when we watched her video interview, that officer told her to her face, why do you keep doing this? I don't believe your emotions. You keep putting Stefan above your daughter, even now that you've seen a picture of her with his penis in her mouth. You're more concerned about getting him an attorney. I totally believe that these police are going to charge if they can. I don't know. Maybe there's something holding up. We know she has the derivative immunity for the one interview. I'm not sure. You know, but let's let them handle it. I don't want the public taking on this. You know, I'm not advocating for that at all. It's simple. My child or grandchild, I'd be happy to spend life in prison. That's exactly how I feel too, 100%. I don't know how I could resist taking it into.
I need to hear more. I need to hear more to answer that question.
Exactly, Natasha.
How did you?
Shame. But he answers extremely responsibly.
Yes, he does. I agree. Saying, I can't excuse this, but I don't want people going after with pitchforks, and we don't know the whole story yet. He really
Find out.
I was informed through a phone call from Jennifer that she was missing. We weren't sure if she was like actually missing or if she was staying at a friend's house at the time. We were trying to like wait to see if she showed up, and by the second day I couldn't wait anymore. So I drove down to Florida. I love what I had of her, but we were supposed to have so much more. And I can't grasp it. I can't grasp it.
Okay.
Look, everyone's welcome to their opinions. If you think, you know, however you feel, you are welcome to feel that way. Just allow people to feel that way. I don't think we should be arguing with each other or anything like that. Everyone has their own. Look, you may see things the way you see things because of whatever you've been through in your life. We all have our own, you know, walks on this earth, or however, I don't know how to say that. Like we all have our own experiences that shape and guide our opinions and how we see things and how emotional we may get over things, how non-emotional we may get over it, whatever. So just want people to feel how they feel, but damn, man. Yeah, that was tough. Okay, let's just take a second because I have a minute and look at what the state attorney said. We've been in contact with the state attorney's office, getting some of these records and files. And again, I'm going to drop the link to Grizzly's channel. I'm going to drop the link to a couple of my friends. Amber, who's in the chat, she's been covering this case. I love Amber. I think you guys would really like it there. I think she's much more organized than I am. So if my random pausing and over talking and all that bothers you, maybe you'll enjoy it there. I mean, everybody talks on their channel though. So, and I'll show you more about that at the end. People are apparently angry that I talk too much on this channel, and it's pretty funny. But let's listen to this quickly. I don't know that I've ever seen this. This happened on April 3rd. Remember, he was arrested February the 29th because it was, well, Grizzly had said at one point, I haven't double checked this on with the police, with the documents. I don't know if it states. I mean, the time is listed on his interview, but I believe he was arrested the night of the 28th, like leading into the 29th. She said at one point after midnight. I don't know if that's true. I know for sure that's when it happened, the night of the 28th leading into the 29th.
I mean, I don't know why 2 years. I don't know.
April 3rd, this happened.
That's a scary thought. Am I right?
Kissimmee Police at their last news conference. They said they're still waiting on medical examiner's report. Do we have an update on that? How she was killed, where she was killed, and timeline murder charges?
Yeah, so we are working still closely with our justice partners and the Kissimmee Police Department to gather all the information that we can. And so if we are able to, we will present that case and you'll have an update when we're able to speak about it.
But no update on releasing any information about how she was killed.
Yeah, so that's all good things that have to stay within the investigation. Is open and ongoing. And so the integrity of our cases depend on that information not being readily available, because the last thing we need is all when we saw with cases where you have to go out and find jurors from different jurisdictions. You have to bring in jurors to try a case because the case have become so well known to the people in the community that we can't present a fair trial. So we want to be able to.
Damn, they're on the ball already, right? They are preparing to obviously prosecute.
They've released so much
the prime
now, though. It's really interesting.
6 charges that I've actually 6 crimes against everything in this case. The other together for you of all.
A concern right now, I know when I spoke with experts, they said because of the high profile nature of this case, it may have to be moved.
Yeah, so that's exactly the reason why. So the less likelihood that we can, obviously we want to make sure that you are involved and that the public knows that we're working hard on the case. But when information and facts are to be leaked and things then take a turn where those type of things have to happen, where we have to maybe change a venue, where we have to import a jury and sequester a jury for a whole month or 2 months, depending on how long the case is going to take to present. And so it's a great cost to the citizens, because taxpayers are paying for that. And I think it really takes out of the hands of the peers that should be trying the case. So the law wants you to look at your peers should be trying the case, not somebody from a different community. Somebody from your own community should be the people trying your case.
He's sitting in the jail.
Interesting. I had never seen that before, you guys. That's super interesting. So we're done. Now I'm just gonna chat with you guys for a moment. Damn, man, that's a lot to take in. So I think we're done going through the interviews. I'm not going to go through the audio interviews of the friends and stuff. We have heard a few clips that from the counselors and the teachers. Otherwise, I'm just going to leave it there. When more comes out, of course, we'll talk about that. We still have the emails to go through. Damn, man, it's just heavy. It is heavy. It's a lot. It really is. And I'm certain it sticks with you guys like it does with me. She's from, oh my God, she says it all the time. I don't know why I want to say South Africa, right? Or New Zealand. I don't know. She says it often, but I can't remember. I don't mind the commentary. It's food for thoughts. Well, some people don't like it, and I'm going to show you. Claus says, in my opinion, it's hard to separate your feelings when you have been through some of these same traumas as a child. And I'm so sorry for anyone who has. I always try to keep that in mind, because you're right. People are going to feel how they feel regardless. Here's the thing, though. I don't want anyone timed out or blocked for their opinion. I don't want anyone fighting over their opinions. People are free to voice it here, as long as they're respectful to me and my mods and other chatters, of course. I just don't want to become that. It's not going to be, you have to agree with me. I don't even agree with all of my mods the same way about this. I feel, or all of my friends that aren't mods. That's fine. We don't have to. So, people are free to feel how they feel, but I can see how, had you been through something like this before, it might make you feel one way or another towards Jen or towards other people in the case versus other people who maybe hadn't. So, Switzerland from the Netherlands, South Africa. I don't know. Sweden is in Europe, though. Oh, and now she lives in Switzerland. Okay, interesting. Thank you, guys. Yeah, her crime scene photo was leaked. Yes, it was. Posted right to freaking Instagram by the sheriffs. You better agree with me on everything, Amy. No, I mean, I personally think, Jennifer, there might be a potential that it's not over till it's over, basically. And I don't think that we have all the information. We definitely don't know. I mean, look at this. Matter of fact, Lori Vallow, okay? She just got found guilty in Idaho. People were like, how the hell has Melanie not been charged? Or, this person not been charged, that person. And some people were like, there isn't nothing to charge her with. Guess what? No, they all had immunity and it was never disclosed. When she showed up at court in Arizona, her defense was saying, look, we haven't got all the paperwork. We don't even have the immunity paperwork. And Arizona's like, hold up. We haven't offered anyone immunity. That was Idaho. So I'm just saying there are things that could be happening we don't know about, and we'll see. We'll find out. Maybe we won't find out. I don't know. Anyways, we'll see. So everyone's free to feel how they feel, even if you don't like hearing me talk. This is why I keep mentioning that, because when I get like new people to the channel, I even did a different intro today. I'm going to play my intro as my outro. I get like several comments like this. Hold on just a moment. And we've went over like rude comments and videos on my second channel, live streams, and laughed our asses off because people have called me Amy and all kinds of stuff. Can you believe that Barry Morphew's case was the federal judge threw it out? I think he's going to be charged again soon. So he was trying to file against the attorneys and the police for their investigation on him, and the judge threw it out. First time viewer, too long of an intro. And then, okay, it is. But the song and the visuals are pretty cool and a good vibe of this channel and the creator. Sometimes she talks too much for me, but she is very kind and caring. So I watch her stuff. And it's like, sometimes she talks too much for me just made me laugh because I'm like, okay, do they want me to just come on and like be dead silent, just play the videos I'm playing? Like, it's my channel. If you don't want to hear me talk, it probably is not a good idea to be on this channel because you're certainly going to hear me talk. But whatever. And the intro, yes, it's like, dude, on the replay, you can fast forward. It is meant for during a live stream before we all get into a conversation where a lot of people like to be in real time. The intro plays for 2 minutes, so it gives people a chance to get here after they may get notified by YouTube or whatever. You know what I mean? That's the purpose of it. There are literally channels, not necessarily true crime channels though, but I have seen some channels and some that claim to be true crime that just let music play for like 10, 15 minutes. Some that aren't claiming to be true crime at all. But I'm just saying, like, what even is true crime anymore? I don't know. It's frustrating, but the intro is 2 minutes. That's it. It's pretty simple. You can fast forward, but it is what it is. Sunday doodles. I don't know if there is a polite way. Oh, wow. I didn't know that, Tracy. That's really interesting. I know. I've noticed that. People complaining about her, and she's like, the link is in the description. I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, thank you guys for being here with me today. I'm going to get ready and get the youngins. My niece's birthday's tomorrow, so lots of planning and stuff. The intro is a catchy tune. I like it. My couch. I got to get up off this couch. Okay. Some people rather complain than fix the problem. Yeah, she puts them on without commentary. And I've linked the interview without commentary. It's pretty simple. Oh, thank you, Mark. I am so thankful when you come by. Thank you so much because I really appreciate hearing from you. Hell, I've never been a cop. And, also, unfortunately, and I'm so sorry, that this has happened, but you know what it's like to be family as well in these situations. So you know exactly what the rumors do and all that stuff. And I take your words, I really take to heart, and I really think about it and take them so seriously. And I just really appreciate your input more than you know. I really do. So thank you so much. I certainly will. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. She will be 9. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to the happy birthdays. Thank you for having the conversation, for giving your input, all of that stuff. I appreciate you so much. Please check out the links that I've dropped. I'm going to drop some more as we end for some of my friends, their channels, some of their couple small businesses that I really love to support. And yeah, I just hope you guys have a lovely day. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be on early. We are certainly doing a coffee and crime. There are so many cases happening right now that are not being talked about, that really need the attention. And oh God, there are several that Tess and I have gathered. Tess has sent me a lot of stuff of, people who are supposed to be watching and taking care of our kids that are not. School counselors, teachers, coaches. It's always a huge underlying theme when we do these like coffee and crime. We just hang out and go through tons of different things currently happening in true crime in our world. But yeah, it makes me sick how much it's happening, but it needs to be talked about. It's really important to me. So we're going to be on no matter what tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So I hope to see you there for that. You can listen to me while you wake up. You don't even have to chat, or while you get your kids ready for school or whatever. There's a lot that I want to show you guys. So I will see you tomorrow for Coffee and Crime. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you guys. If you're in the way of the hurricane, stay safe. Make sure you're paying attention to your local news so you know exactly what's going on. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for spending your time with me. It means a lot to me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.